So I was drinking maybe 3 or 4 of these cans of green tea today, and it's one of my favorite teas. I have it around the house. Normally, I don't drink this many, but as I was popping open these cans of tea, I was thinking to myself, man, I can't wait to drink this because I expect this to be a delicious, refreshing peach mango flavor. And as I was reflecting on that, I was thinking to myself, man, isn't God the same way? God is such a consistent God, just like this can of tea, where when you open it, when you drink it, you expect what it is that it says. The label says peach mango, and you don't expect it to be a raspberry flavor or something different, but rather you expect it to be what it should be giving you. And I was thinking about that, and a lot of us, when we look at God, we look at God not in that way. We don't look at and seek God in a way where we believe and desire for him to be consistent. And instead, we treat him and we look at him as an inconsistent God. And though we may not say that necessarily, we do that in our actions because we get frustrated, we get upset when things don't go the way we expect it to go. But because God is such a complex God, God is such a complete and wholesome God, that we don't really understand fully the promises that he has for us. And God in the Bible outlines a lot of these promises, thousands and thousands of these promises. And what I mean by promises is that his word is complete. There's an input to an output. There is a cause and an effect. And all of these scriptures that talk about what he says is true. And for example, you look at the Beatitudes. It says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are those who are merciful, for they shall be shown mercy." And on and on and on. Ask and it will be given you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open for you, right? Scripture doesn't say sometimes if you are merciful, you will be shown some mercy. If you hunger and thirst sometimes for righteousness, or even if you hunger and thirst for righteousness, sometimes you will be filled. It's never a input and then sometimes you'll get an output. It's never this cause and then you'll get a different cause. It's always consistent. God, when he talks and he speaks through scripture and he gives us these promises, he is consistent. And because man, when we look at if you ask for bread, you don't get a stone, right? You don't get these inconsistent things that man or somebody else may give you. And just like this cup of tea that I'm drinking, I should expect, and I'm happy, and I'm so glad that I get what I'm getting, which is this cup of tea, right? And a lot of us, will see God as something where if you open some leftovers and it's spoiled, you may or may not get some fresh food, right? If you open up some software and sometimes it's buggy, it crashes. You go online and sometimes it crashes and sometimes it works. God is not like that. God is not an inconsistent God. And a lot of us, we have to realize that because we're measuring God on our own standards, because we don't understand fully the big picture, we don't understand scripture in its entirety. And as we study it, we just get components of it. And really, if you look at who God is, he's looking at your life, he's looking at the whole picture, he's looking at so many other things, and he still holds true to everything that he says in scripture. And so I just wanted to remind you guys, as much as I was so happy and I was so joyful in being reminded of consistency, I was reminded of how good God is. I was reminded of the fact that I can be refreshed. I can be expectant of what the input is to the output, what the cause is to the effect, right? And God is the same way. And a lot of us, we need that reminder. We need to remember that just like you're opening this can up and you're going to get this, you have to remember that if you are hungering for righteousness and thirsting for it, then you will be filled. And many other promises in the Bible, and you can just read it from cover to cover, and you will see as you see it. It's never this will happen, and sometimes it may happen. If you do this, sometimes it may happen. It's never like that. God is always consistent. He's always wholesome. He's always complete, and he will always deliver on what he says according to scripture. He's not inconsistent. He's not incomplete. He's not errant in his ways. And we just have to understand and be mindful and be patient and see and step back to understand that God may have a different, I guess, understanding of something, right, than we do. And so wanted to encourage you guys with this. Drink tea, drink whatever you want, eat whatever you want, and be happy that God is the same way. And he will always deliver on the promises. He will always deliver and fight for you and be on your behalf for anything and everything that God has for you and for the children and us, right? And so, yeah, God bless you guys. Be encouraged, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.